America ain't all what it seems. It was all but a dream. That's what Biggie said. It was all but a dream. He used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. Man. What's going on, y'all? Just for a moment. Just for a moment. I ain't use Pro Tools, but I use the things that the only soul use. So much going on out here right now, man. So much going on a daily basis. You know what I mean? In the light of everything that's going on out here, it's like, man. How y'all doing? Put the glasses on backwards like this. If it's not AI, what is it? You know what I mean? If it's not artificial intelligence, what's going on? You know what I mean? I'm still trying to figure this shit out, to be honest with you. I mean, I figured out a lot of it. I know my part, and I know why I'm in the position I'm in right now. And it's because that they don't want a lot of truths to get out there to people who can't afford to know the truth. You know what I mean? If you can't afford to know certain truths, they don't want the truth to get out there to you. If your mind isn't ready to accept certain truths about the world around you and about the things that's going on a daily basis, then they don't want you to find out these things. You know, they want to keep you stagnant. They want to keep your mind lost in a lot of different ways. With the deep fake technology that we seeing nowadays, I could literally like type in a prompt and have an artificially generated movie just pop up based on what I typed in a computer somewhere. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, they probably could look at my podcast and see the background, because my background is artificially generated. This ain't my real background. You know what I mean? I'm not really at a music studio with pictures with albums and stuff hanging on the wall or nothing like that. You know, you know what I mean? I'm where I'm where I'm at. I am where I'm at, basically. You know, enough said about that. But it's just that being that we could change our whole environment just with the press of a button. You know what I mean? With the click of a, oh, okay, that bag is showing up behind me. That's funny. Well, with the click of a button, I could change up my entire environment or where I'm at or anything like that. I really don't want that bag in the fucking environment. I want it to keep popping in and out. But anyway, let me see if I could. Oh, I can do that. I can manipulate my environment. I could give you a half and half look. I could just totally disappear. See? But I'm not. I'm going to keep it like this. But, yeah, man, it's, you know, we're living in a fraudulent state. We're living under a fraudulent economy. We're living under fraudulent laws and statutes that's placed upon us. You know that the president really don't have any power or jurisdiction in the state you live in. You know, it just recently became the United States. Before it was the United States of America, it was just America, right? And before it was America, it was Turtle Island. So what they do to separate themselves from being incriminated or having any penalties given to the government, the true government over top of the many governments that go on in your states, they insulate themselves by having your state's local government be responsible for the things they do to people in society, and how they govern their life and how they choose to let you live your life. Because they really do choose to let you live your life in a certain way. It's a level of separation there. I'm saying all this because I'm trying to liberate y'all mentally. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us got this slave mentality so embedded and it's so ingrained in us that we don't try or attempt or even we don't try or attempt to do something new. We even shun people who try and attempt to break out of that box, to break out of that slavery cage, that mental slavery, that spiritual slavery, because a lot of it is spiritual warfare. A lot of it is done physically to enslave you spiritually and mentally. And COVID, during COVID, there was a lot of examples of what I'm saying at play. You know what I mean? In play at that moment. You know what I mean? You had the George Floyd thing where, what happened to him was terrible, terrible thing, right? Then you had the COVID outbreak, right? The COVID outbreak, they was telling everybody to stay in the house. They had the president actually saying that he was going to tell all the states to put certain mandates and laws and enforce martial law for people who's not being in the house and this and that. And then you had certain states, the governor of certain states, saying that we're not going to abide by that. We're going to do what we want to do, what we see fits best for our state, for our state's economy, for the way that our people in this state feel like living. Florida was one of them. Texas was another one. It was a lot of other states who chose to do their own thing besides what the government wanted them to put down. I believe California was even stricter than the government was asking them to do, but it's just because they wanted to keep their population of people safe. The thing is, whoever governs your state could supersede what the president has to say about the entire United States. The United States was brought about to keep each governing system of the government in each particular state safe. It's like a safe haven. It's like we all want facilities and infrastructures and things like that. So what they'll do is things that happen in this state, they'll actually foot the bill over to Washington, D.C., which is District of Columbia, which is not even a part of the United States. I had no idea about this for a long time. But yeah, Washington, D.C., that's District of Columbia. That's not even a part of the United States in a way, in some weird way. But anyway, it's like if Philly got a foot, if Philadelphia or Pennsylvania got a foot the bill for something, all they do is kick it back to Washington. And then Washington kicks them back a check or whatever to reimburse them for whatever they had to pay out. And it's a system to keep you on the teat of money, on the teat of the financial system that they have in place right now. You know what I mean? That's basically what it's about. It's about building this monopoly game. And this monopoly game being built around you is based on their banking systems. It's based on their rules, their laws, this and that. You know what I mean? How you go about making money, how you go about if you're gonna, you know what I mean, come up with a business model, if you're gonna have a product that you want to bring and start producing for people for consumption or whatever it is. It's like that's the business model. You know what I mean? And it's like they want to keep business rolling basically. So they're not going to tell you that a lot of what you're dealing with is fraudulent. A lot of what you're dealing with is fraudulent. Um, Especially when it boils down to the laws and the statutes that they hold you under. You know what I mean? A lot of this shit is just they pick and choose who they want to promote, who they want to put on a higher platform. You can have the best work out there, right? You can have some of the best work out there, right? Or you can not have the best work out there. That's a better synopsis right there, a better thought. Because you could be a Joe Blow Bubble Yum, right, type of dude, right? Never did anything in your life, but they want to put you in a certain position. They'll get you the hottest writers. They'll get you the best makeup. You know, you could be the ugliest person in the world. They'll make you look like $1,000,000 fucking. You know, you could be the corniest person in the world. They'll steal somebody else's style and give it to you. So you could, you know what I mean, you could flow and move around and do your thing or whatever. And it's like, they do all this to have a foothold on certain industries, because you'll have people look at that artist like they hot because they're influencing people to actually look at this person. You know what I mean? This person got the views. This person's going to influence style. This person's going to influence this and influence that. So what they do is they put people in positions to to further solidify their control. Because if you have stars and things telling you to vote for certain people, or vote in this way, or listen to this type of music, or wear these type of clothes, it's constantly promoting their level of governing. You know, their level of governance over you, any type of way. My fault. So the question of, are we really free? No, we're not free. We're not free. Freedom is not even granted to you once you get out of the rat race. Once you don't have to work a 9 to 5, or you trying to build something and it starts to accumulate for you. You're granted another level of freedom, but you're not really free. You know, you're granted more. You're permitted to do more. You're permitted to do more things. You know what I mean? Even now, I'm not in jail. I'm not locked up or nothing like that. But I'm still not free. I still don't have a level of freedom that I'm trying to achieve for me, my family, for the things that I want to do with my life, for where I want to be in life. You know what I mean? Anytime you have a system that don't even abide by their own laws and statutes and won't grant their citizens help in certain ways, help in certain situations, when you have legal organized crime happening and they choose to ignore that shit, it's like, what is law? What is law at that point? Whenever we know that the government does certain things and they got control of certain things, right? What are we really living under? I mean, they selling us fake food in the supermarkets now. You know what I mean? Everybody know about, you know what I mean, people bending food just not acting appropriate, like it's grown wrong, or like it's chemically altered some type of way. Artificially inseminated food is like, that's what's going on. It's a lot of fakery going on. It's up to us as individuals to think outside of the box so we can gain the level of freedom that we want to be free. Because, I mean, your soul isn't free. Your soul is inside this vessel. But through this vessel, you can grow. You can gain knowledge. You know what I mean? You can have the wherewithal to gain more knowledge, to gain a level of spirituality that'll allow you to break out of whatever bondage that you're in. Because all of our bondages is different. You know what I mean? All of our bondage is different in many different ways. It's like, for one person, their bondage might be alcoholism, right? For another one, it might be drug addiction. For another person, their bondage or their slavery might be to women. You know, some people are slaves to money. You know, different things. All of us have different vices. You know, sometimes we compound our bondages. You know, we're bonded and bound by the things that we give our energy to. So if you're on a daily giving your energy to negativity, then you're a slave to negativity. You're a slave to that energy. You're a slave to the things that negativity bring about. You're a slave to the things that promote negativity. Now, if you're giving yourself to positivity, you're still a slave. You're giving your slave to love. You're giving yourself, you're a slave to peace. You're a slave to harmoniousness. You know, you're a slave to godliness. You're a slave to oneness with yourself. If you want to become one with yourself, you could be slave to all of these different things in life, all these different emotional avenues that you get pulled on. You know what I mean? That you get pulled onto. You know, a lot of us are moved to do certain things, and we don't know why our lives are moving in a certain direction. It's moving in that direction because you're being moved in that direction. You're being nudged by whatever forces or entities are in control. Some of us can think that we're in control of ourselves, a lot of times, but it's like a level of control comes with a level of clear thought, clear consciousness, higher consciousness. So that's why it's best to rethink the things that you do and say. You know what I mean? Before you say them and do them, think about it. You know what I mean? If you really think about it, because sometimes you might have a thought to do something or you might hear something and it's giving you a certain message, but the message that you're taking from it is being, how can I say this? Okay. You might go through an experience, right? And normally you won't take it. All right, let's say you get in a car crash, right? You get in a car crash, but you just had good news on the phone. Now, this car crash wasn't your fault, right? Now, normally you're an even level person. You're not the type to flip off the handle. It wasn't even a bad car crash. It was just a little slight minor fender bender. But for some reason, in your mind, it's telling you to rage out and spaz out when that's not of your character. That's not who you are. But something is telling you to spaz out on this person in this other car. You know what I mean? You don't know who that person is. You don't care who that person is. Something is in you telling you to spaz out, and you spaz out on this person. And then that person has a heart attack or something because you attacked them verbally and you was like really confronting them in a harmful manner, right? You caused your action or your emotion, right? Your misplaced emotion caused somebody to even further hurt themselves. You didn't know what type of day this person was having. You don't know who this person is, what they got on their mind personally, right? So if you had a thought before you actually got out the car and confronted this other person, that person wouldn't have had the emotional feelings or had the physical feeling like, of having a heart attack because you attacked them, in whatever capacity you did, because you was acting out of your character. Now, granted, it's like that's probably a bad example, but it's situations like that. Somebody could say something to you that's not triggering at all. But for some reason you go to it flips a switch with you that make you get negative. You know what I mean? And it's like, why are you being negative over something so petty? Somebody could just ask you a simple question and you get negative. It's like, whoa, where's that thought coming from? Most times, those negative thoughts are not coming from you. Most times, those negative thoughts or the feelings or the reactions that we have our own situations, is merely a test. If you could control yourself, if you could control your emotions, you know what I mean? You have to be in control of your emotions. And being in control of your emotions is being in control of the things you think, you say, you feel emotionally. I mean, yeah, emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? Because if we're not in control of the things that we think, feel, and say, right, then who's in control? If you can be given a thought that's negative when you know that you wouldn't even think, okay, it's a person that you really love. Here go another example. I'm having fun with this shit. But it could be a person you love, right? And you would never think anything negative about this person, but they do something that's a little bit irking to you, right? And now all of a sudden you catch yourself thinking negative. And you kind of stop that train of thought and saying, hold on, why the fuck am I thinking this type of way? Why am I thinking negatively about a person that I love and care about so much? Why? Where's that thought coming from? Hirachi. And that don't mean nothing. I just felt like saying something. It sounded like something smart I would say after I come up with a point. But those are that's the spirit. It's like that's the spiritual battle. And the spiritual battle is fought inside this vessel. You know what I mean? inside this vessel is your soul, i.e., your spirit, your consciousness, your intellect, and that can be tampered with, especially when you're living in a system that devices to control your temperament and who you are, your nature, and things like that. They don't really want you to be naturally who you are. They want to generate who you are. They want to take control of who you could become. They want to take control of the very way you live your life. You know, how what type of work you're going to do in your life. All of these things. They want control of all of it. You know, and it's a control that's happening because we live within a system that's it's a augmented it's an augmented reality inside of our reality. It's an augmented reality inside of our reality. And that's how we could feel like something is legal organized crime. It's legally done. The organized crime is legally done, but it's still illegal. You know what I mean? And the only way you could come to that is you got to realize that you're living in the augmented reality of your reality. Um, there's things at play that you don't know about, that I don't know about. There's beings and entities on other levels and other, planes that get to watch us through our own eyes. Through our own eyes, we have vision, and through our own eyes, others have vision into our lives, right? Through our eyes, we observe many others and things happening and how we perceive things, right? So basically, you're what a camera is to a director for the gods, for the heavens up above, for paradise, whatever you want to see it as. For all I know, we might be projecting images into Mars or onto the moon or wherever our eyes are connected to. Sometimes you could close your eyes and you could literally see a warp, like something warping. And when you close your eyes, that's like basically, the intermission, the ending of a show, right? But when you open your eyes again, the show's back on. You know what I mean? The recording has begun again. The moment you wake up or come out of that deep sleep or slumber, you're recording again. You're now acting and in this role of who you are, playing out your everyday life, but really your life on another level is a show, a cosmic TV show, you might as well say. It's a lot to really process. But once you've processed it properly and really did your spiritual homework, you know what I mean? It's a lot of soul searching. It's a lot of mental homework there. You got knowledge that you could tap into mentally that's not written in books, that they don't have tablets. Well, they might have tablets of it. You know what I mean? Something written in stone about the things, about the inner working of the mind and the soul and how it all coincides with your higher self, or the heavens or the gods or the God, big G, little G's. I'm not sure. Not saying that I'm not sure, but I have to feel sure. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not sure until everything's confirmed. You know what I mean? To somebody come by and say, you know what? This guy's right. Really, I don't need that reassurance. So am I sure? Yes. But am I unsure a bit? Yes, yes as well. You know what I mean? Because all of us comes to our own conclusions. All of us has our own hypothesis on what life is and what we're going through and what's happening. You know what I mean? We all have our own thought process, our own hangups, and our own things to feel and things to figure out. So what's sure for me may be unsure for you. You know, just changing up some music while I talk. I gotta get back to that too. I gotta make some more music pretty soon. I just wanted to put out another episode of my podcast, man. You know, I appreciate all the love I'm getting out there for my podcast. I appreciate all the engagement. I appreciate the the systems that allow my podcast to live there. You know what I mean? Where I could get my message out, where I could air out my grievances. Because a lot of times this is like therapy for me, having my podcast and just being able to talk and express myself. You know, it's a way for me to monetize myself and to get myself out there. You know what I mean? And also it's a way for me to get things off of my mind and off of my chest that I feel, things that I'm dealing with, things that's very real. Even if to anybody else is not real, even if anybody else cares about my situation at all, or even care about the podcast at all, care about what I'm trying to do. You know, what I'm doing is not just for me. What I'm doing is for all of us. You know, when I put out a podcast, a message out there, anything, it's just to merely connect with another person so we can get their mind thinking, you know what I mean? And not necessarily thinking on the same terms that I'm thinking on, but to get us thinking, period. To get us thinking outside of our own box. You know what I mean? Because we all come up with our own hypothesis and our own understanding on what life is and our takes about this religion and that religion and politicians and politics and, you know, the way we live on a daily basis. But it's like until we take that and really throw our information out there so others could throw their information in the mix too, or get together and have a discord on what we all believe, then we really not making no progress. You know, we're not really making no progress if we're not babbling, if we're not building that Tower of Babel together, if we're not talking, conversing with each other, if we're not sharing what our belief system is, you know, and many people think that it's just that belief systems come from your religion or how you was brought up and things like this. No, your belief system comes from inside you and what you believe is true. Your own theocracy. I had to look that word up. Y'all should look it up too. Your own theocracy. You know, that's like your spiritual governance right there. Your spirit, yeah, your spirit, your soul really governs who you are. You know what I mean? What you have inside you. We could think that the law govern over us. We could think that these people over here in control or this and that, you know, different systems that play, you know, in our society. But we're not governed by our society. You're governed by the thoughts, the feelings that you have, the emotions that you have. You're governed by your soul, your mind, your consciousness, your higher consciousness connecting with yourself in this moment, in this present time. Something popped up behind me. But it's like unless you get in control of that, unless you get a rein on what you feel, the things you think emotionally, the things you say out loud, then you really don't have a rein on your life. You really don't know who you are if you haven't done any type of deep meditations, if you haven't really had conversations about who you are with yourself. Sometimes you got to have a conversation about who you are with yourself. You got to understand who you are on a level that nobody else could comprehend. You only get that from solitude. You only get that from solitude. You only get that from, you know, reaching down into that place where that child still lives at within you. Because a lot of us, we grown, we could do what the fuck we want to do. But no, a lot of us, no, we're not all grown. We're just, our bodies are getting older. But your soul, your spirit, the thing that animates you, you know, your mind, your consciousness, it's still what it was when it got here. We all still the same internally. This world can beat, batter your body. You know, you can think all types of things or go through all types of situations that change the way that you move as a human being. But our cosmic age is what it is. You know, there is no children are dealt no more. It's like the scales has been warped. You know, the it has been warped. There's really no adult child thing right there. You gotta look at children as little adults. So you gotta try to teach the children things that they don't already know, that they think they're gonna that they think they're gonna get some type of extra, you know, achievement award or something, or some type of extra perks in life just by becoming an older age. When you don't, you still are who you naturally are. So if If your child is out here chasing an age, oh, I can't wait till I'm old enough to da da da. You're chasing an age. You're not really chasing the mentality that's supposed to come with that age. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of it happens that way. A lot of it's like we think we're an adult just because we're an adult, and it's like, no, dude, you still are who you are. Really, I don't even like to acknowledge my birthday or birthdays no more like that, because it's like you get that in your mind. You know what I mean? It's like if you think that you really got older, if you perceive that you got older, then you really just allowed yourself to get older. But if you think or if you feel like you're a certain age, and if you go through life at that age level, if you not even that age level, just that spiritual vibration of that age you were when you first felt it. You know what I mean? That good vibration, that good feeling. You know what I mean? It's like as long as you ride with that vibration and whatever age you was when you reach that vibrational point, you good. Just stay right there. If 16 was that age for you, then stay 16 forever. If you reached your peak level of optimal consciousness or thought process or whatever when you was 21, then stay 21 forever. That don't mean don't accept more information, because you still grow spiritually, mentally. You still grow, but we stick ourselves in the box when even we just um 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 actualize a birth date. Like when we give a birth date too much control over our life. Like some people, they'll go out and they'll spend money that they know they don't have on a birthday. And then a birthday still wind up being just meh. And it's like, what was the point of that? You could have used this to do that, or they figure out something is going on. Life still goes on. I had people pass away in my life, and I still had to work. Life still went on. It's like just because we pass on, is life still goes on. Is just because we got a year older, life still goes on. That's why I try to teach my children now before they get too old, or before they get to an age where they can say, damn, he ain't never really teach us nothing, or try to teach us anything. I try to teach them now about things that they'll learn when they get older, as an adult. Because some parents, they'll let you learn shit at your own pace. They'll let you go through all the bumps and bruises of life to learn certain lessons, and it's because they might have forgot to teach you that lesson because they was too busy living their life. Once you have children, you can't be too busy living your life not to at least reach back and give them words of advice, give them encouragement, and give them plenty of love so they could grow and develop into proper human beings, proper people, into being who they're supposed to be, who their personality calls them to be, who their characteristic calls them to be. How to put the reins on their characteristic at time, and who they and their personality at time. Because sometimes you can see you got an overly silly child, and if you have an overly silly child, you don't want them to become an overly silly adult. So you got to teach them how to separate this from that. You know what I mean? You got to teach them not to be silly in certain times, not to be goofy in certain times. You got to teach them when to stand up, when to not stand up, when to be more observant. And it's always great to be observant. It's never good to be judgmental, because when you're being judgmental, that's when you start a whole nother separate thing, the bullyism. And then sometimes it's the, you get it. Going down that rabbit hole too much. But yeah, man. Each one teach one. We gotta live, learn, and grow out this joint, man. It's a hard road. It's a hard road. It was hard for me. And it wasn't even my fault that my road was hard, and learning and growing and things like this. I just thank God that I was able to elevate in a way and really learn on my own, and learn through other people's experience. A lot of times I learned through other people's experience. I seen them fall on their face flat. Either I've been through something, you know what I mean? That's learning from my own personal experience. When I go through things and I'm just letting these things play out, I'm not really reacting to things. See, I don't really respond to things because I'm non-judgmental. I don't know why you doing what you doing in my life. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, but I'm observing what I'm doing. I'm not being judgmental of what you going through and what you doing right now. And I'm not judgmental about what I'm going through. I'm just making the best moves for me. As long as my best moves don't hurt you, then it should be cool. So I observe life. I observe life from the things I've been through and the moving pieces that was around me, and me constantly keeping my eyes open and noticing certain things. And that's how I'm able to, that's why I was able to grow and learn and still be in this vessel and still have my higher consciousness being tapped into and having this spiritual awakening and things like that. Because it was plenty of situations that I've been in where I could have been dead. I could have been in jail. I could have been all types of things, man. I could have been in big trouble. You know what I mean? I could have got my ass whooped a bunch of times. I could have been dead. Like, like that's the biggest one right there. Because once you go on from this reality, once this life is gone, then you move on to the next level of life, whatever level of life that is, right? Yeah, all of these memories and all these thoughts is retained and everything, because your soul, that's the intellect and the soul is what transfers to the next level of life. But it's like you miss valuable lessons when you don't pay attention to the things that you go through. Pay attention to the things that other people are going through as well. Because you miss valuable lessons right there. If you're not paying attention, if you're not aware. Some of us, we get too emotional. We start to overreact and we're thinking too deeply. We're thinking too harshly about whatever situation it is. And you like, yo, slow the fuck down. Gather your emotion. Gather your wits. Stop judging. That's what emotion is. That's your mind reasoning with your soul what's going on. And that builds up a certain emotion. You know what I mean? That's you judging the situation. That's the emotion coming out. Because this is happening right now. You got this, oh, they doing them wrong and this and that. So now you build up this angry ass emotion in your body. And then it's exuded outwardly into the world and things like that. You can't do that. You can't really be judgmental. Spiritually or mentally, you can't. Because once you do that, you're losing the opportunity to learn. You know what I mean? You got to learn to live life, be an observer, be objective, and don't overreact. Keep them emotions intact. Keep them emotions intact. So that way you can make it out of whatever situation you in. You can make it out of whatever situation you observing. Because some situations that you in is just purely meant for you to observe and learn from and grow from and continue on with your life. Some situations is just purely that. But you'll overreact in a situation. You'll overreact in something that you're supposed to learn from. You'll wind up getting your top chopped off. Getting some dumb shit done to you. Getting set the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I know all about that. I'm gonna tell you, I know all about the fucking setup game. Why? Because I'm a kind dude. I'm a nice person. I live my life. I don't really do too much dumb shit. I've been around a lot of dumb shit. I'm not trying to be around no dumb shit no more. I never was trying to be around dumb shit. But it's like, dumb shit loves presenting itself to a good person. When you're a good guy, when you're a person that's not really on no nut shit loves presenting itself to that type of person who's not tolerant of the nut shit. So here come the nut shit. When you don't want to be involved with it, here it come. Here it come from your family. Here it come from your friends. Here it come from, wherever. Here it come. Nut shit. Every time. It's just how things work sometimes. It's just how things work until you learn how to avoid the nut shit. Till you develop that, nigga please. You gotta develop that, nigga please type of mentality. And just get the fuck out of there. Cedric said it one time on his on Kings of Comedy. You gotta have that nigga please. You gotta you gotta cut the dumb shit down. You gotta cut the dumb shit in half, man. You gotta karate chop it. Cut the dumb shit right out. Because dumb shit will happen. Dumb shit will happen without you even noticing it's happening because people in your circle is allowing it to happen. So dumb shit could be right around the corner and you never know about it, but it hides its face every time you show up because it don't want you to know it's there until it's up in your face twerking. You know what I mean? Dumb shit like the twerk in your face, make mockeries of you and make all types of nut shit happen in your life. That's what dumb shit like to do. Dumb shit like to make a dumb shit out of you. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we fall into that by assuming. By assuming a situation is something different than what it is. We don't go with our gut instinct. We don't go with our intuition. You know, normally your intuition is always going to tell you when something is bad, even if it feels good. Your intuition is going to let you know that something is bad, something is fucked up, something is wrong here. I feel like something is wrong. I don't like the look of it. Get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? It's like, I talk about it a lot because I've been placed in a lot of those situations where something seems like it's good and something seems like it's forthcoming and something seems like it's going to be a good path to go down, or it's a good link up. It's a good connection. He's a good guy. I'm a good guy. She's a good lady. We're all good here. You know what I mean? We're not into no nut shit. You know, we like to, whatever. And there still be some nut shit happening. The only time anything going to go right for you and your life and what you got going on is when you take your own personal interest in you. When you take accountability for you, the things you do, the people you're around, when you don't allow people to be around you doing dumb shit. Because a lot of times I had nut shit happen just because I'm allowing a person around me who does nut shit. So when they doing their negative shit, when they doing their bullshit, it's like I'm proxy into that because I'm allowing I'm allowing myself to be around this person and they into some nut shit. So inevitably, some of they nut shit rub off on me. Or a person might categorize you and being involved with this nut shit or the bullshit that they into because you're around them and you're a part of them. You know what I mean? Oh, you guilty by association. That's what they call it. Guilty by association. So that's why you just gotta maintain and stay in your lane. Chase whatever's meant for you. Whatever you're building, whatever your happiness is, wherever you find that Zen space, that's what you got to stay into and that's what you got to do. You got to chase that. And eventually, chasing that, it'll start to chase you back. You know what I mean? It'll start to want you just as much as you want it. You know what I mean? When you want to do music, you got to continue to do that music. And eventually, the music itself will call you to do more music. When you're writing books and you getting into writing books and you putting down some great literature and things like that, certain book ideas will call you to complete certain books. It's calling to you. It wants you to do it. You know what I mean? Doing a podcast, you doing the great episodes of podcasts, you putting out, is hit and miss though. You know what I mean? Everything has got, you know, a little bit of shit with it. Nothing's ever going to be perfect right away. You know, right out the frying pan into the fire is perfect. It's never going to be that way. It takes constant work at whatever it is that you're trying to do. Then it starts to chase you back. It starts to want you to do it more. You doing it is going to make you want to do it more. You know what I mean? Even with the gaming thing. Shit, gaming is addictive. Once you keep playing, you become better and better at the shit. Then you want others to see you being better at it. Then people like to see the videos of you being good at whatever it is you're doing, your game stream or whatever. So now you incorporate whatever it is that you do into that to promote whatever it is you do. Monetize yourself. But you still got to break away from that because we're multifaceted. So you can't just bog yourself down into doing one thing. Otherwise, you're not showing growth in other avenues of your life. You got to show growth in all these different aspects of who you are. The aspect of life itself is multifaceted, and it's something that continuously grows. You got to grow with it. Your mentality has to grow with it. Your spirituality has to grow with it. Your physicality is definitely going to grow with it, whether you like that or not. But maintaining who you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, maintaining that heart of gold, as Earth, Wind, and Fire would say, is basically that. Because the world can't change who you are spiritually. The world can't change the way you think. You would have to adapt to how the world is and adapt your thinking around to navigate around the bullshit that you got to deal with on a daily basis. Your thought process is your thought process. The things that you think and feel emotionally and spiritually is how you feel on a daily basis. The world can't change that. But you can act like the world could change that. You can act like you've been changed in some type of way. You could put on a fake facade and pretend to be a certain person when you're really not. That's what it is. A lot of people believe that when you change as a person, right, they think you being fake because they don't know what it is to live in a purpose. A lot of people think that when you go from being a regular Joe Blow or just working at McDonald's or wherever to being an activist or being a star somewhere or paving your own way in some type of way, doing your podcast, doing comedy, doing whatever it is that you're trying to do with your life, letting your passion shine. They think that you building up a facade. They think that you being fake or that you know what I mean? Oh, they trying to do, they extra, they dick eating, they doing this, they doing that. But it's like, it's not that. It's just you living in your truth. You living and doing what it is that you were supposed to naturally do with your talents, your abilities that you want to do, the things that's going to make you happy in life. You know what I mean? You can kiss my ass. I'm gonna chase anything that make me happy in life. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if I go broke doing it. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck if the law don't like the fact that I'm doing it. If the city or municipality or the union, whatever job I had before me doing whatever I'm pursuing now, if they don't like it, then I don't gotta work for you. I don't want to work for you anyway. I don't want to work for you. I could work with you. We could do commercials and shit like that, but I don't want to work for you. And that's the key thing. The government, the society that we in now, locks you into being a slavery for being a slave for the system, and they don't want you getting out of that. They don't want you getting out of that slavery bubble, and they work it to the way where you don't even feel like a slave. You don't even feel like a slave. Slavery nowadays don't even feel like slavery because you filled in the application. You took the training for the job. You at this job. You're becoming successful at this job. You love this job. But if that job was to go, or if that job was to get taken away from you for whatever reason, then what is your life without that? Right? Without that work, without whatever it was that you were doing for somebody else to build up somebody else's corporation or business, what do you have? You have your hobbies. Most of us are in love with our hobbies more than we are with our jobs. So why don't you turn your hobby into your job? If you love playing games, then all you got to do is put your gameplay in front of everybody, become a game streamer, and guess what? That's your job now. You just got to do it for a while before it start making money for you. If podcasting is your thing, if you like talking and you like expressing yourself and you like passing on positive messages, then start your podcast, monetize it, put it in front of people so that way it could be the thing you do. It could be the thing you pursue to make you happy in life. It could be the thing that puts food on your table and sustain you and your family. If you like making music, then make music until it's something that can sustain you and your family until it starts making money. You got to do research into how music can make money, how your podcast, how your game stream, how your books. If you like writing books, write as many books as it take you to become a efficient book writer. And until it could, you figure out how to make money for you. Put your book in as many places as possible. Put your podcast, your music, your game stream, your movies, whatever it is, your comedy, in as many places as possible. You know what I mean? I take my hat off to the new comedians and shit like that out there. Because what they did was they allowed the social media platforms so they could tell their jokes or make up their skits in different ways and put them in front of everybody. Because we all got a cell phone. You know what I mean? And they put their comedy in front of everybody to the point where they getting requests to do shows in certain places. Now they could feed their family with just joy and laughter and happiness and what raise their vibration spiritually and mentally and elevate them as a person. Now they're using that to eat off of, to feed their families and to create something. You know, they created a different avenue for themselves. You know what I mean? Take my hat off to them. Everybody who's being a pioneer in their own life, an inner pioneer, an entrepreneur. I take my hat off to them because it's not hard. I mean, correction, it's not easy. It's not easy. And society around us will make our dreams, the pursuit of our happiness, hard. The environment around us will make it hard for us to pursue whatever it is that we want to do with our life. And you got to dip and duck and dodge through all that adversity and jump the hurdles of becoming who you are meant to be. And you will get there, but you got to keep going at it. You know what I mean? The negativity is going to come at you full force at times. The positivity is going to come at you full force sometimes. You're going to have a lot of love and you're going to have a lot of hate. But you got to embrace and you got to take it all. I done heard plenty negative comments on videos and shit like that. I don't read them. If I see it's negative, I just, what the fuck? Skip past it. I don't even delete it no more. You know, I don't even want to delete the negativity. I'm going to leave it there from now on. Because I had a lot of, I had shit like that. You know what I mean? We all have shit like that. Where we get a negative comment or a negative vibe or a negative reply from some shit, but it's like, why even entertain the bullshit? If they don't understand and they just don't understand, they'll catch up. Or one day I'll put a video out there or a song out there that they like better than the last one. And they'll catch up. They'll get on the same vibe as me eventually. Or they won't. Fuck them. Point blank period. Yeah, I learned some lessons. These are my confessions. Sessions. Gone in seconds. Man, watch those people, they be blessings. Sometimes I forget the words to my own fucking music. That'd be weird for me. Like going through that, forgetting my own words of something that I created, that's weird for me. But now I see how a lot of artists feel when they get up on stage and you might see him lip syncing. You like, oh shit, he forgot his words. I know how that feel every day. I listen to my shit every day. Every day I'm listening, I'm refining, I'm writing more, I'm doing more. I'm trying to perfect my craft, not even perfect, because nothing is perfect. I just try to get proficient at what I'm doing and what I'm trying to create. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? Sometimes that just take meditation, writing, thinking, trying to hone this and hone that, getting your thoughts together, delivering the appropriate message on screen is a skill on its own. Do you know how hard it is to sit in front of a camera screen and sit up there and constantly talk about a subject by your fucking self? Oh my God. It's tedious work because you got to keep your mind on track. Things might be going on in your atmosphere around you, but you got to keep on track. You got to keep your video going. You got to keep on speaking the way that you want to speak, especially when you got a time stamp that you're trying to reach. You like, all right, I want to do an hour. You like, all right, I want to do an hour. You know what I mean? I want to go for an hour. But in that hour, you're going to have things happening. You're going to have cars honking. You're going to have people walking. You're going to have somebody walking around in the background. You're going to hear noises that you're going to want to respond to. And you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay honed in on what you're doing. I'm not wearing no earbuds or earphones, so I can't tune out the environment around me or the world around me. And if I could, you would still hear it anyway. The microphone would pick it up. You know how hard that is? It's work. It's hard work. It's dedication. It takes time and effort to learn anything. Just as well as I could put this content together, I still got to learn the business aspect of monetizing it, of getting it to the appropriate place where it could be, it could start to, gain revenue, where I could get money and, feed myself and feed my family, whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? So I can see something. That's the best feeling in the world, when something you create is bringing you money now. When something that you create is providing a way of living. You know what I mean? That's the most beautiful shit in the world. And that's what I'm building. That's what I'm building. That's what everybody else is building that you've seen on a podcast, making music, doing comedy, doing game streams and shit like that. It's like you're going to do what you love until it starts to love you back. And the way that it shows that people love what you're doing is money. You know what I mean? You generate some type of revenue from it. When you see people, they might show you love. You know what I mean? They might, dap you up and say, hey, I like that joint you did. I fucks with this, man. Keep doing the good work. Da, da, da. When people start recognizing you and shit, it's like, that's when you feel the love from what it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? That's when it start to resonate with you, that you on the right path and you on the right thing. You know what I mean? Whatever that thing is in life. As long as I look at it like this. As long as it's not negative, the powers that be shouldn't fuck with me. As long as I'm not doing nothing wrong, the powers that be shouldn't fuck with me. You know what I mean? And we all being governed over. So the least we could do, knowing that we're being governed over, that we're basically slaves, right? That we're not free. The least we could do is gain our own level of freedom. Is gain our own level of independence. That's the way I see it. You gotta gain that level of independence about yourself. You gotta gain that level of freedom. If I don't feel free, right? If I feel like I'm governed over and I don't feel free, if I feel like a slave, then I have to discontinue whatever it is that I'm doing in my life that makes me feel like I'm not free, that I'm a slave to something or somebody, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm chasing that. I'm chasing my freedom. You know what I mean? In light of all the fraudulent shit, of all the setup shit, of all the conspiracy level exploitation level type shit that happened in my life before I started doing all this. Before all that shit happened. You know what I mean? I'm still chasing that freedom. I'm still chasing that, you know what I mean? In light of all that shit happening, it's like I'm still chasing what I got to chase with my life. You know what I mean? I'm still chasing what I'm chasing because going through all that will give you a level of like, where the fuck am I supposed to be? Like, what's really going on out here? It'll give you a level of distortion about who you are and how life is meant to be lived, and can I make it in this aspect of my life? Can I do this and make something of myself and things like that? And it's like, dude, you just got to keep pushing through. You got to keep pushing through no matter what they do. You got to keep pushing through. Understand that you pushing through and you gaining your freedom in your own way, breaking that slavery bond that you feel like you had for so long, you doing that shows other people that it's possible. You doing that shows your children that it's possible. You doing that solidifies your family's future in a lot of ways. It gives you a name. It allows you to be more authentically you, and it allows your children to grow and understand that whatever it is that they want to do, they can do it. Right? It's like you could take a pony, right, a baby horse, and tie him to a pole with a small string, and that string will hold that pony at that pole. You could do this until it becomes an older horse. It's a full-blown horse now, fucking big, huge stallion. And you could use the same small string to tie him to that pole, right? If it would have pulled the string when it was a pony, it probably could have got away, right? But it believed that string held it there. It believed that it couldn't get away because that small string was there. When that horse or that stallion becomes older, you can tie it to the pole with that same string and it won't go nowhere. He won't try to break the tie or anything because he still believes in his mind that this little teeny piece of fucking rope can hold him to this pole. When the entire time, this thing could rip not only the fucking string off the pole, it could pull the whole fucking pole down. It could go around knocking all the poles down. But because it built up that stigma in its mind, in its personality, in its spirit, that it's being held here by this rope, by this string, it can't go free and run free. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not true. It's not true, and that's what they do to all of us. That's what they do to many of us until we learn that we got to pull away from that rope that they got us tied onto the post with. You know what I mean? Until we learn that we could go further and we could do more with our lives. You know. Well, we're at the hour mark. We've been there for about 59 seconds and counting. So that's been my time. This has been God Concept Podcast. I appreciate you all for viewing and watching. Any comments? Leave them underneath the video, wherever you watch it at, wherever you listening at. Leave comments, like, share, subscribe, and all that, because I'm trying to keep my viewer count going up. I'm trying to get my subscribers up so I can monetize myself in many different ways. A lot of these companies don't want to hear what I got to say if I don't got the followers to follow, you know what I mean, the followers to back up what I'm saying. So like, share, and subscribe. You know, there's more on the way always with the music, with books. I still got a bunch of things that I'm scheming on doing, you know what I mean? A lot of processes that I'm working on, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Mr. Pagan, I'm out. Peace.